for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
From the gridiron to the ball diamonds, from the hardwood to the ice rinks, from the fairways to the octagon and everywhere in between. If it makes headlines, it's fair game on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. And we welcome you to a very special edition of the Sports Reel podcast here on the PFC Entertainment Network. He is Tim Sheridan. I'm Jason Clouse. We certainly appreciate you tuning in here this week. And while this was not the episode we were hoping to do this week, we're still here. We're still going to be covering a lot of the sports headlines, but I got to be honest with you, if you're out of the loop, we're going to be talking a lot about the NFL draft that opens here tonight. Now, our original plan was that we were going to be at one spot at the same time and broadcast during the duration of the first round here tonight. My shoot job is, I don't want to say it. I don't want to put myself in any more hot water than I'm already in, but be that as it may, it was important that we still got something out on the air. And you can join the conversation live as it happens. I'm going to be sharing that link in the chat on the Facebook feed over at PFC Entertainment Network. Before we get into all this, man, Tim, it's good to see you. You're rocking the Honolulu blue here this evening in preparation for this thing. A lot of people expected to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, for this draft. But before we get into all that, how the hell are you today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty damn good. Just glad to be home out of work with a full belly and a cold beer in my hand. Other than that, I'm excited about this draft. And even beyond the draft, there's other cool shit happening today. I think the Pistons are playing today in a third game of the NBA playoffs. The series is tied 1-1. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit. But besides that, I'm doing good. Normal work shit. It's one of those things. Your job sucks.
Yeah, 100%.
Should have been doing the live draft show today, but it's okay. I might even drop on later and go Facebook Live a little bit to cover a little bit of the draft. Who knows? It depends on how much I drink before then. Now I had to be kind of a good boy because I have to work tomorrow. It's going to be a rough day. But yeah, excited about the draft. Excited about see what goes on. I mean, there's a lot of cool shit happening. So now I swing it back to you and ask how the hell you are. Sounds like you got a little bit of a voice thing going on there. Either you're coming down with something or you were screaming too much over the weekend. I don't know why you'd be screaming a lot, but
I left the majority. Well, it's gotten a lot better here since Sunday, but last Sunday, of course, we were in Las Vegas, Nevada for WrestleMania 42 or 41, and I just saw the logo for 42. That's what made me think of it. I was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania, and I left the majority of my voice in Allegiant Stadium. It sounds, but I know it sounds like shit right now, but believe me when I tell you, this is a vast improvement over what I sounded like on Monday, if I can be honest with you. But it was a good time. We had a great time. Las Vegas is a completely different animal.
I told you, bro. I told you. Well, we're gonna before we even get into any sports, I want to first off, I want to say happy belated birthday to Dave here. He just put that in our comments there. We missed his birthday. What did he say? He was watching golf and lost his voice from screaming like a fanboy. I mean, I know you're starting to get into golf a little bit, watching full swing. But
Yeah.
so happy belated birthday, David. But I want to get into first. I want to get into WrestleMania a little bit because I watched all weekend. I want to get in a little bit of that, and then I want to hear about your Vegas experience because I was really looking forward to hear about your Vegas experience, knowing that it was your first time out there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect. I could be honest with you. But I come away from it. I'm glad we went. The weather was fantastic. It wasn't too hot. I think on Monday we wound up staying, a little bit later than we had anticipated. We actually went out on Monday to kind of walk the strip, just to see what all that was going on. Man, it's a vibe. It's a completely different vibe. I wasn't sure what to expect. I kind of went into it as open minded as I possibly could. We flew in on Friday and didn't kind of kept it low key on Friday. We watched the Hall of Fame, which here on the East Coast it started at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it was a late start. But we did watch the Hall of Fame. Saturday we went to the Las Vegas Convention Center for WWE World, their big fan fest interaction thing. They had a ring set up. They had a lot of props that they had used. The old WrestleMania 21 sign that hung from the rafters on the road to that particular WrestleMania that was on display. Rock had a display there, a big old wall where you can write a message to John Cena thanking him for his career because if you're out of the loop, this is his last year in wrestling. Um, we went back to the rooms, watched night one of WrestleMania, and then afterwards we went over to a Fontainebleau hotel and their theater there and saw the Undertaker do his one Dead Man Stage show, which I'll be straight up was probably the highlight of the whole weekend for me.
Was it?
Oh my God, Tim. And you knew it was going to be good because they made us put our phones in these locked bags. So
Yeah.
nobody could take video, nobody could take pictures. One asshole tried, and you saw how serious that they took that. Like these dudes come out of fucking nowhere and it's kindly let that gentleman know why he was in the wrong. But that was a great time. And then Sunday, of course, we were in the stadium, 63,000 people in there, and it started out great with the triple threat for the women's world championship that Io Sky had retained, and culminated with Cody Rhodes and John Cena for the WWE Championship. Cena wins his record's 17th title. Just to be in that atmosphere, to be in that crowd, very split crowd, between Cena fans, Rhodes fans. Um, Personally, I was okay with the main event up until Travis Scott came out because it sucked the air completely out of the stadium. And even though the match went another what 2, 3, 4 minutes after his arrival, that they weren't getting that back. I haven't watched it back on Peacock to see how it resonated or how it came across. But I can tell you in the stadium when he came out, it like everybody was just like, "What the fuck?" Even Cena fans were like, "Why? Why is this guy here?" I was hoping Cody was going to straight up punch him in his fucking cocksucker. If I can be honest with you, after that bullshit that he pulled at the Elimination Chamber, but Cody being the consummate pro that he is, I can't take anything away from that. But it was all in all, it was a good time. We had we saw some cool things. There, my biggest complaint with anything that wasn't even with Las Vegas as a city, it's the fucking prices, bro.
Yeah.
They they have priced everything out so much that it's impossible. I mean, unless you are making six figures a year on damn near, you couldn't do everything. You just couldn't afford it. I'm hoping, because I wasn't the only one that felt that way, and I know that there is a groundswell of people that are writing into WWE, telling them to calm this shit down because we've already made our commitment. We are going to be in New Orleans next April for WrestleMania 42, and I'm really hoping that they as much as we would have loved to do everything that was there, like the roast of WrestleMania, I would have loved to gone to the Hall of Fame. We just couldn't do it. So I'm hoping that they learn a lesson here and kind of dumb that down a little bit. That really is my only complaint. But it was a good time.
Good, good. Like
Did you watch the show?
yeah, I watched both nights. I didn't watch the Hall of Fame, like you said. It came on at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and that wasn't realistic for me to get on. But we watched night one. Night one to me was kind of flat up until the main event. The main event was really good. Other than that, the rest of the show was kind of flat. It seemed like night two was hopping. That's where all the best stuff was going on. I mean that woman's triple threat was fire. Pretty much every match on that card was phenomenal night two. Like everybody just showed out and just went above and beyond for night two. Really enjoyed night two. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I get it. Watching it back on Peacock with the main event with Travis Scott coming out, I was kind of upset when he came out, but watching it on Peacock, I kind of got the feel that the majority of the fans there almost seemed like they were, for Cena, which I can understand. It was kind of cool to watch him win his 17th and set that record. And the way that they did it, they could have did it without Travis Scott, but I love the fact that he cheated to win. That was, amazing for the story that they're telling. And I like the story. A lot of people were bitching about that main event, and they said that it wasn't that great. I loved it personally, not only as a wrestling fan, but somebody who's been in the business to understand what they were trying to do there. Cena said that he was going to ruin wrestling for everybody. So he did everything he could to make that not a fun match, which played along with the story perfect. I love when he was going for his 3 moves of doom. Every time he'd, slam Cody down, he'd get up, walk around, adjust his knee pads, do something else, then pick him up all slow and hit another one. Like it was amazing, the story that was being told up until the Travis Scott point. I wish they would have just left that out of there. I don't know what was to be made there other than put a celebrity out there in the main event, but they could have did without that. But yeah, night two was phenomenal. Like I loved night two. And I even caught Raw the next night, which is not typical of me anymore to actually catch a Raw. But I was excited to catch Raw after Mania because that's usually always the best Raw of the year.
Right. It's from a storytelling perspective, it was spot on. I enjoyed. I'm so glad Jey Uso won the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther, making him tap out. I did not see that coming.
No.
I thought Jade Cargill and Naomi did a decent job. With what they had to work with. The tag team championship match, they could have put that on SmackDown and brought the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the WrestleMania card. For all I am not a War Raiders fan. Like I could see that they were really trying. New Day had their work cut out for them, but it fell flat. The main event, the storytelling in the triple threat with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk
that was
great.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but night two, I'm with you. Like those guys, even the McIntyre Priest match, the Sin City Street fight was fire. AJ Styles and Logan Paul had the match. I thought that they would. I hate Logan Paul. I knew he was going to win, but I fucking hate him. Um, he's too damn good to
I
be
know.
where he's at.
Doesn't it piss you off?
It does.
To get in the business that fast and be that good. He's a natural athlete. See, I don't hate him. I give him all the credit in the world because for somebody to dive in that deep and actually have respect for the business the way that he does, I totally applaud him all the way. And I think he's doing great things. It's just unusual to see somebody catch on that fast to be able to do what he does. And I mean, as the next few years go on, he's just getting better and better and better. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him be a world champion eventually one day. And I think it would be a good choice of WWE to make that happen. But you got to get him a couple more years in so people can respect it a little bit more. Because I still think, even though he's, like 3 years now or something, he's been going, I still think that people are still like thinking that he doesn't deserve it yet, but he's been there 3 years now. He just didn't have the same, background that a lot of the other guys had that had to fight their way up through the indies and everything else. So, But I guess when you get it, I mean, look at Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle did the same shit, except he came from a legit athletic background. But I mean, kind of in the same sense, so did Logan Paul. He's been an athlete all his life. So it's just
Right.
he kind of came from a YouTube background. Well, whatever works. What did Dave say here? I wore my shirt that said I did cocaine at WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome.
Well, that's
We can
you
still
know,
say that without getting deleted, right? Shit.
yeah, I
Fucking
would.
Facebook.
Fuck, who knows at this point? I'm afraid to say anything at this point. But
I think we just
yeah,
can't show videos of golf. Fucking A. I
of
want to
all
apologize
things,
to everybody. Yeah. Apologize to everybody about last week's show when we put that out there. I wanted to see a clip from the Masters, and the Masters was like, no, the fuck, you ain't having that on your show. So they deleted our video right away. But if you want to see that episode, it's on Spotify where you can watch video. You can also listen to it on iTunes, anywhere else you can get, podcasts. The show is still live. The full video is still on Spotify. I rewatched it back. Spotify don't give a shit. But
no,
back
they
to
really don't.
yeah, back to so now we know you enjoyed WrestleMania. You said you stayed over in the city on Monday. I know before we've had conversations where you said that, you really had no, want or, to actually go to Vegas. Now,
I
actually,
had no desire.
yeah, no desire. Now, having actually spent a little bit of time in Vegas and you get to spend Monday kind of enjoying the city, what's your honest thoughts of Vegas?
Vegas is a cool place to visit, but it's not something I would make a habit out of, if I can be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, and I know I'll get heat for this because I know that there are a lot of people that really enjoy Las Vegas, and I understand that. I saw it with my own eyes. My thing, Tim, and I know this is going to make me sound a certain kind of way, but the whole city is one gimmick. It is a big fucking gimmick. There is not one from from our experience and the things that we saw, the people that we talked to. There is nobody legit there. Like there is some sort of something going on. We like there was this. I'll give you a quick story real quick. We were looking at the fountains in
At the
front of.
Bellagio?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And we were just standing there watching them, minding our own business. And this, like, I'm sitting down right now, okay, and I'm probably not even 4 foot off the ground. So this little Asian woman probably stands from the ground, probably maybe this much taller, okay, a
Yeah.
little short lady, grabs a hold of my girl's arm and throws some beaded bracelets on her, and I'm like, no, take them off. And she's like, why? I'm gonna take them off now. And the little Asian lady is like, donation for peace, donation for peace. And I'm like, how much? Because I didn't want to make a big scene out of this. And he goes, whatever you can afford. So I'm like, all right, here's $4 or $5 or whatever that I had in my wallet. Tim, this bitch tried going into my wallet to grab the 20s in there. You hear me? And I'm like, no, no, no. And the bitch shoved me, man. We're done here.
Yeah.
We're done here. So anytime anybody would, handed anything out, I did the cock block thing. I'm like, nope, not happening.
Yeah.
But it was a very festive vibe, and I had talked to a couple of the locals that live there, that work there, and they said, all of these people that you're here that you're seeing right now are here because of that wrestling show, because on Easter weekend in Las Vegas, it is a ghost town. Nobody goes to Las Vegas on Easter weekend, which is the whole reason why they wanted to bring WrestleMania to the city. I found out, Tim, whoever is in charge of the city paid WWE $21 million as an appearance fee to bring WrestleMania to Las Vegas on that weekend, which is why it was held so late this year. And I was like, God damn. to be that. I mean, that's where we're at now. They're getting $21 million checks to do WrestleMania. Um, would we go back? Yeah, we'll go back and we'll explore because you can only see so much
Yeah.
in one day. You know what I'm saying? There were a couple of things that she wanted to see, and I made damn good sure that that happened because I mean, it was her idea to go out there specifically for WrestleMania, and she's not a wrestling fan, and so I wanted it to be something that I wanted Monday to be her day. So there were a couple of things that she wanted to see and explore, and we did that. One of which was Gordon Ramsay's restaurant attached to the Flamingo,
Yeah.
and she's a big Gordon Ramsay fan. And like I know who he is. I've seen him. I've watched a couple of his shit. I gotta tell you, number one for the price, and number two for the hype. I expected a whole hell of a lot more. You and I could probably put out something with that tasted way better, and for a fraction of the price than what the fuck they're doing in that restaurant. But again, I understand it's a business, it's a gimmick, it's his thing. I understand. But I was, as far as that was concerned, I was very underwhelmed. She was too, and I was like, okay, well, at least we can knock that off the checklist.
Off the
But
list.
but we'll go back again and actually see other parts of the city. There's a lot of other shows going on there. Uh, when there's not WrestleMania going on, then absolutely we'll go back and check that out. Maybe we'll do like a couples retreat with the Sheridans or something.
Just let
You
us
know,
know. We always love
next
Vegas.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, mark your calendars. April 11th and 12th next year, we're going to be in New Orleans for WrestleMania. So start planning, and we'll make this a thing.
Sounds like a
So
plan.
I'll be talking more about that on the next episode of the Fatal Four Way, which was supposed to happen on ONTV this week, but because of scheduling conflicts, they're actually having their volunteer awards banquet this Friday. So we're not going to be on ONTV. Things are going to move over here to Riverside.fm, and we're going to stream it across the platforms on which you're watching this fine program right now. Is beginning at 6 p.m. this Friday. So um, yeah, that's kind of like my Cliff Notes version of my Vegas trip.
Sounds good. I'll have to listen to get a little bit more in depth there, but I wanted to touch on it a little bit because I've been waiting to hear your thoughts of WrestleMania and Vegas. So it's sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah,
By your voice, it sounds like you did a lot of screaming, a lot of Cena chants.
I
It's
did. I never thought I would, but I did it. Okay. There was this kid sitting next to me, probably 25, 26 years old. He thinks he knows everything about everything, and he was a Cody Rhodes fan, and just to spite him, I really,
just
I
amped
cranked
it
it
up.
up. Yeah, really cranked it up to an 11, if I could be honest with you. But
Nothing wrong with
Joe
that.
Hendry came out, and I popped hard when Joe Hendry came out to wrestle Randy Orton. Was so happy to see that for him. Stone Cold Steve Austin came out, slammed that fucking four wheeler into the barricade.
Did you see the footage of him trying to come out and he missed the ramp at first? That's why it took him so fucking long.
Yeah,
And they had to
yeah.
like drag him back and he's like scraping the side of the thing. It's like I was like, was he hitting the old brewskis a little hard before he came out? Like,
Which I had for the first time while I was out there. That Broken Skull IPA he's got.
is it pretty good?
It's not bad.
Gosh,
Not
I've never
bad.
been able to find it. Otherwise, I would have got it. The only thing I've ever found around here is the damn Hogan's beer, which I didn't even buy because I figured it's just a gimmick. But
They had that there too, but I didn't buy it. I was so excited that they had Austin's beer there because it's a mail order thing.
yeah.
You got to order it, and it's expensive.
Well, and you can't even get it in Michigan because you can't ship alcohol to Michigan.
Right.
So it's
And
kind of shitty.
they had these great big tall cans of Seagrams that were WWE inspired, three different flavors, and those sons of bitches packed a punch. We got those out when we went to the convention center, and like we were drunk within like 25 minutes, dude. And
Nothing
then you
wrong with
put
that.
me in a superstar that's fucking drunk. Not a great idea. but it was a good time. And yeah, Austin's beer, like it was legit. Like I'm not an IPA kind of guy, but and it could be because it's his, and my brain just kicks into that. But it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Good, good. All right, so we're done with that. Our Jason's fabulous trip to Las Vegas segment. I need to get into Tim's 2-minute golf review
Yes,
before we
sir.
get anything else.
Yeah, bring me
Let me,
up to speed, Tim, because if I could be honest with you, in the time that we were um, in Vegas, I kind of like I didn't turn my phone off, but it was off to the side. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, no,
I'm
yeah.
out of the loop on a lot of shit right now, especially with golf. So please bring me up to speed. What's happening?
Well, this past weekend we had the RBC Heritage and also the Corrales Punta Cana Championship, which I did not watch, but I did watch the RBC Heritage on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, because what else is there to do besides spend family and watch golf? So we watched the final day of that one. Justin Thomas won that one in a playoff. That was actually a good round of golf. It wasn't as exciting as the Masters for a playoff, but he did really well. So Justin Thomas won that one. Next big name, Tommy Fleetwood placed 7th. Siwoo Kim placed 8th. Scotty Scheffler 8th, tied for 8th. Scotty Scheffler at one point in the day had worked his way back up to 4th, but kind of fell off. Victor Hovland 13th. Xander Schauffele 18th. But it was cool to see Justin Thomas finally get back into a winning part of his career, because he's been kind of lackluster lately, so it's kind of gives him a little momentum, hopefully, to lead up to the next major coming up, which we had talked about a few weeks ago, which is the PGA Championship. So Justin Thomas getting a win, we're kind of excited about that. This weekend we have, let me figure out what we have coming up this weekend. I think it's the Zurich Championship. April 24th through 27th. I don't have a leaderboard or who's playing in it yet, so maybe we'll talk about this one a little bit next week. But yeah, we have the Zurich Championship coming up this weekend with a person 9.2 million. So I don't see you're going to have any like super major people playing in that one, but it's a possibility as people try to stay in shape getting ready for the PGA Championship, which, like I said, is the next major coming up. So I'd like to see how Rory gets back out there and starts playing again after having 3 wins already this season. So I'm really rooting on Rory McIlroy this season to really make a run at all the majors. Let's see how he does. And I'm hoping that Scotty Scheffler kind of starts turning shit around, because he's been quite lackluster. And I don't know how far off he is from losing his number one in the world status, but I imagine it's kind of dwindling now, because he hasn't had any real wins yet this season. So, Tim's 2-minute golf segment done.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to next week's report. And I did get a piece of feedback from the last episode of the show when we spent, quite a bit of time talking about the Masters. And a buddy of mine at work tuned in and watched it. He's a big golf fan. He goes out on and plays and stuff like that. He wanted me to let you know that he really appreciated your breakdown of the Masters.
Oh,
So
awesome.
there are people that tune in and do appreciate Tim's golf roundup. So I just wanted to make mention of that real quick. So
Well, I would spend more time on it, but I don't know how many people are actually interested in golf, and I don't want to bore people. So, it's one of those things. But I appreciate the feedback, and I will continue keeping updated as the season goes along. And obviously, we'll spend more time when the majors roll around. These smaller tournaments in between. There's other stuff going on at the same time too. So it's like we're trying to cram all this shit into one bag, and it's kind of hard. But yeah, I appreciate the feedback. The Masters was a big deal, and I think it was the best Masters that I had watched in a long, long time. It was an exciting Sunday of golf, and it was this past weekend. It was not as exciting as the Masters, but it was still pretty exciting to see Justin Thomas come out there and win that in the playoff. It was a great tournament on that final day. Who drives a VW? I don't drive a fucking VW. There ain't no way. I don't even like working on those pieces of shit.
uh, Dave's
Hogan's beer
always
tastes
good.
like orange, wrinkly, dried up skin that had been left in the sun for far too long. I could believe that. That's why I didn't buy it.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and throw that up there because he also writes in that Hogan's beer, or who wrote that? Was that Sean? Sean Grugel is on here too.
Hey, Sean, is that Tahiti? No, I know what you're going to put up there.
Hogan's beer is worse than Bush.
Sean, there. I mean, sometimes there's a time and place that calls for an old Bush latte, and you got to drink it. It is not that bad. Bush is a good beer. It's just a down home American beer. You know, I know Hogan's got his real American beer, but it ain't got shit on Bush. Like, and so your comment is true. But Bush isn't bad.
Well,
Like,
now
you
I'm going
can't
to have
knock
to
a
go.
Bush latte.
I'm going to have to go out and find Hogan's beer
I've
and
seen it
just.
at Meyer a bunch.
Is
So
that right?
yeah,
In Lapeer?
yeah. I don't know if
Oh,
they have it right now, but they've had it in the past. It's usually where because I went out and also bought garage beer. It's the Kelsey's beer, which actually
okay.
isn't that bad. It's actually not that bad. It just reminded me of Bud Light, which I'm not a huge Bud Light drinker, not for any other reason other than the fact that I like my beer to taste like beer. Bud Light's very sweet to me. Like it's got that sweet kick on the back end that I just don't like. I like more of a that's not true either. I can get drunk off Bush lattes, okay? I used to buy them all the time. And you know what? If you want to talk about Bush, there's like this cult following of the Bush apple, and they're re-releasing it this year. Even my wife likes it. So Bush isn't bad. My wife's not a beer drinker, but she will knock down some Bush apples. But Bush, not a bad. I mean, you can go buy a dirty 30 for like $20. Nothing wrong with that if you're trying to get a cheap drunk going on. You want to talk about a bad beer? Let's talk about Natty Light. That's the beer that you have to like prime yourself and get a little drunk before you start drinking because that's water beer. It's just piss beer. But Bush isn't bad. I don't mind Bush. I'll give Bush all the credit in the world. It's not my first choice, but I'll take it. Now we're sitting here, we're fucking squirreling on beer. We haven't even
We came here to preview the draft and talk
yes.
about NFL
We've
draft.
talked wrestling, golf, beer. Which I could talk beer all day long. Let's talk about beer. Like I fucking love beer. We can get into whiskey talk too. Anyone want to talk some whiskey? I
Oh,
love my bourbons.
listen, Jack and me, we go back a ways. You know, we're good friends. That's usually my go-to. If there's nothing else, as long as you got some Jack, I'm good. You know.
See, one of these days when we have a live show here, I'm gonna turn you on to some good bourbons that you just drink. You're not mixing with shit. So
Okay.
I'm gonna
When do
get
you
you.
want to
I
do
mean,
that?
if you, I have a decent collection over here
Yes,
now.
you do.
So
Very
there's some good shit
impressive.
up there. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, now he's talking about the beast.
Old Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pivot here. You know, we could sit here all night. We'll save this for an in-person special live stream edition of the
Which we
Sports
have to do again pretty soon. We all need
We
to
do.
get together and do a show because that last one we did was a lot of fun. So we need to do a live in person, even if it's a close to the heart show. Let's get deep down and fucking talk something other than sports that I can get myself canceled over.
We'll get all into the fields. We'll
Get me drunk. We'll have a real good time.
I'm here to
It's got to
I'm
be a
here for it.
Saturday night show though, so I can get real fucked up.
Listen, easiest thing in the world. Easiest thing in the world. We can make that happen for sure.
I'm down
But
for it.
let's switch gears right now and let's look at what a lot of fans are looking forward to. It is the 2025 NFL Draft, emanating this year from Green Bay, Wisconsin. This it starts here tonight. They are going to do a coverage on Friday and Saturday as well. I am told ESPN is going to be broadcasting this thing. Am I accurate in that, Tim? As far as my notes are concerned?
I think yeah, the main broadcaster is probably ESPN, but it's going to be all over the place. I'll be watching it on the NFL Network, but there'll be multiple broadcasts of this draft going on at the same time. So everybody's looking for it. I mean, we are fucking 36 minutes away from this thing picking off. I got it on the TV in here. So it's about to go live and it's about to get real and it's about to get exciting. Hopefully, if people start making some moves, there was already some. I saw some pre-draft movement already. Let me see what that was between teams. Already trading out picks. Um, I follow, and if everybody notices on the Sports Rail page that I follow a lot of news that Ian Rappaport puts out, but the Texans and the Browns have already made a trade pick. So they were trading the 2025 fifth round, the 2027th round from Texas to the Browns for the 2025 sixth round, 2025 sixth rounds, and a seventh round from the Browns. So there's a little bit of movement going on, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more going on as this night pans out. I keep hearing rumors that the Lions may be trying to trade up, and I'm hearing that even up possibly to the 10 spot. So let's see what they're willing to give up to get into a top 10 pick. I'm not sure what they have. You know, there's a lot of rumors going on right now that Jameson Williams might be on the block as a trade piece in the draft. So we'll see if that's true. I'm not sure if that's true. I'd hate to see it, but at the same time, I understand it. You know, I mean, let's be honest. JMO spent quite a bit of time suspended over the last few seasons for stupid moves that he's personally got himself into, and he keeps getting in. And he probably should have been suspended again for his involvement with concealed weapons this past season, along with all the other trouble that he had. So maybe they're willing to move on from him just because they're worried that he might end up causing some trouble in the future. So that might be a piece that you could sling out there. But at that point, to replace him, what are you going to do? You going to trade up and draft a wide receiver in the first round? I really think defensive edge first round is the way to go. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I'm with you on that. Because right now the Detroit Lions are at a point now. There is no wiggle room here. As good as Williams can be, if he is any kind of distraction, any kind of burr in the saddle, that is the last thing this team needs to be focusing on. We're too goddamn close to really moving to that upper echelon and maintaining a, a strong spot in the upper echelon of not just the NFC but the entire league. So if you have a guy who, as talented as Williams is, if he is, out there doing stupid shit off the field, and it's bringing a lot of this unwanted attention to the team, that's not going to resonate well. It's seemingly not going to resonate well, especially when you got a guy like Dan Campbell at the helm of this thing. Brad Holmes too. They want to move on and get to the Super Bowl. And I feel like the mentality, the grit mentality that we've spent a lot of time talking about here on this program, that it's either shape up or get the fuck out. If you don't want to get the fuck out, we're going to ship you out. So you hate to lose a guy on with that potential, but at this point, it's just potential. You know, we got to get to the Super Bowl. What is going to make that happen? And taking all the extracurricular bullshit and influences and distractions out of it has got to be priority one, and focus on what's happening on the field and with the best players. That's going to give you the best opportunity to actually win here. Now, with this draft, the Tennessee Titans are sitting in the number one spot. They're going to get the first draft pick this year. Now there are just had a list pulled up here. The top 10 as of this writing, and this is from ESPN.com. The top 10 draft picks are in this order. The Tennessee Titans at one, two will be the Cleveland Browns, three the New York Giants, four the Patriots, five the Jaguars, six the Raiders, seven the Jets, eight the Carolina Panthers. I was waiting for it. Nine,
I'm not saying
New
shit.
nine the New Orleans Saints, and 10 the Chicago Bears. Now, there's every sports columnist has put out their mock draft, right? There and
Yeah.
a lot of these sports websites have who they think is going to go number one and all this stuff. I'm seeing a lot of projections for Cam Ward
Yeah, to
from
go number one.
to go number one. A few other sites that I had browsed at. Abdul Carter from Penn State is touted to go pretty high, if not at number one. Um, but the top five quarterbacks right now, according to ESPN, Cam Ward of Miami, we just mentioned him. This Shadur Sanders from Colorado,
I think
Jackson
that's
Dart.
Dion's son.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I was wondering why do I know this name?
Yeah.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Prime time, Junior. Jackson Dart from Mississippi, Tyler Show from Louisville, and Jalen Milrow from Alabama. I'll be honest, aside from Sanders and Ward, I'm not familiar with these other gentlemen. Tim, across your radar, do you have a projection who could or who is most likely to go number one when Tennessee picks their first pick?
I think they're going to go Cam Ward. They need a quarterback. And I think he's the best choice in this draft. Typically, you're going to see either a quarterback or a really high touted defensive end go, number one. Those are your two positions. And I think he's going to go number one. It makes sense for Tennessee. They need a quarterback. He could be the future. Who knows? It's hard to call. Sometimes you draft these guys and they don't, turn into shit. I mean, look at Mitch Trubisky. He got drafted, I think, number one overall in that draft, and they let Patrick Mahomes fall, later on. I think he was either 8 or 10. I can't remember the exact number, but some of these guys who get drafted number one overall don't turn into shit. But I think that's the way that it's going to go as number one. Sanders, I think, is going to go in the top 10 also, but I think those are the only quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 10. And if I had to guess, maybe he falls to 9. Who knows? I know the Saints are kind of hurting right now because it looks like Derek Carr might be out for all next season too. He just got re-injured, so looks
Yeah.
like he's going to need surgery. So they're going to be maybe switching things up and going for a quarterback. You, who knows? The 10 spot with the Bears sitting there, that looks kind of inviting for the Lions to make a move into that spot. So we'll see where that goes.
And wouldn't that be something? Because there's already another guy that I had talked to when we were out west, out in Vegas, when he realized that we were from Michigan. They were talking about the Raiders, and then we got into this conversation with the Lions and the Bears, and this guy who, if I had to guess, was probably in his early 60s, so he's been watching football for a hot minute. He told me flat out, he's like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell y'all something right now. He was from, like, he had a really distinct accent. He's like, Lions and Bears are going to be the rivalry in this year's NFL season, and I'm looking at him as the Raiders fan because he's wearing Raiders shit. I was like, that's a pretty bold statement when you're in a division with the Chiefs, with all these other guys. And but you're saying that Bears Lions is going to be the rivalry this year. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think it's something that's going to be looked at and analyzed. But if they start fucking around with draft picks and things of this now, and um, if I don't know. I don't want to get that deep into it. You know, there's already on a local level, there's already animosity with Chicago. Which can I do a sidebar real quick?
Yeah.
I meant to make mention of this at the top of the program, and I got sidebarred. We want to take a moment here and acknowledge the unfortunate passing of NFL Hall of Famer Steve McMichael, who passed away a couple of days ago. I don't know exactly what day it was, but a lot of people know him from his work with WCW, but he was actually part of the 1985 Chicago Bears team as one of the greatest to play in his position. He's been sick for a long, long time. He went into the Hall of Fame last year, and they did a very special induction ceremony for him. Unfortunately, his 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 number got called, Tim, and we wanted to make mention real quick and send our condolences to the family, the friends, and the fans of Mongo. So I wanted just I didn't want to not do the show this week and skip over that. You know, one of the rare guys that really made an indelible impact in two different professions. You know, football and professional wrestling. So, Will, you can suck it. I'm just go ahead and acknowledge your bullshit comment right now too. But be that's it. All due respect, brother. Back, more locally here, Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham is expected to be drafted in the first round here. Um, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make a top 10, if he's going to be drafted in the top 10. But as far as our locally based college teams here, Michigan State, primarily, um, he's the one name I've been seeing more than anybody else's. Do you anticipate he'll be going in the first round, or I
Yeah,
mean it's kind of hard to tell, right?
it's hard to tell. I mean, he could go in the first round. Um, I don't think it's going to be a top 10. There's a lot of defensive players out there this year that are going to go higher than he is. There's a few edge rushers that are going to go higher. So we'll see. He's probably, if I had to guess, he's probably going to be somewhere in the 20s, maybe fit into the teens. It all depends. Who knows? Maybe it's hard to say who's got an eye on him. Yeah, I mean, and where that needs to be met. These teams have a specific, you know, pieces that they're looking for. Maybe he fits perfectly. The Lions kind of sometimes, I mean, maybe he could be a Lion. Sometimes they look at these guys and something fits with them just right. And, between Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they really like somebody based on their attitude more than even what they've seen in college, and they could turn them into something. Who knows where, what these teams are thinking. So I anticipate him probably in first round or early second. But I don't think he's going to be a low pick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he's going to be a low pick. Like I said, I kind of skimmed through a bunch of mock drafts here just to see what the common thread was going to be, who was touted after, who was anticipated to go early in this draft, because this thing is going to go over 3 days here. There's going to be a total of what 237 picks over between now and Saturday.
Yeah, and we're
Uh,
only seeing 32 tonight. So,
right, right.
and that's a big night is the first 32. Night two is round two. And then round three, they televise the next 32 picks or whatever. And then, it just goes off on that. And sometimes it carries over into, I think, even the next day after that to get to that 237. So you just keep seeing the names, but they don't televise after round three. So,
Yeah, what I have here, according to ESPN, round one here tonight. This is Thursday, 8 p.m. Rounds two and three will be held on Friday. ESPN and ABC are going to be covering the majority of that, and then rounds 4 through 7 um, on Saturday, and that is going to be on the ESPN app. You
Yeah.
can, if you have the ESPN app, you will be able to check that out live as it happens. The NFL announced that 16 players will attend the draft in person. Alabama guard Tyler Booker, as well as Alabama linebacker Jihad Campbell, LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell, Penn State edge Abdul Carter, Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden, Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham, Colorado wide receiver Travis Hunter, Boise State running back Ashton Genie, um, we Michigan cornerback Will Johnson, Arizona wide receiver McMillan, Alabama QB Milrow, Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons, Georgia safety Malachi Starks, Texas A&M edge Shamar Stewart, Miami quarterback Cam Ward, and Georgia edge Mikael Williams. So I, I always felt like there was more players in attendance during
No,
this thing.
not typically. Usually, typically, it's the players that they anticipate going in the first round. So you can almost guess that all 16 of those players are going to go in the first round, depending on where they fall. So there's going to be another 16 that aren't there that are going to go in the first round, but those are going to be high draft picks usually. But typically they're all going to go in the first round.
Well, I mean, if you are Brad Holmes and you are let's not even say that. You have the book, Tim, so to speak, and you're looking at your Detroit Lions team, and you could pick anybody that has come across your radar in preparation for this thing. Who do you go after?
I couldn't tell you a name because I don't know who's going to be available, but the first thing I'm going to go after, and I would even possibly trade up to get it, is the best available defensive end in the draft this year. That's where I would go. First pick. After that, depending on what they do with JMO, if they trade JMO away to move up, then at some point in this draft, you're going to need to make a pick for a receiver. You're going to need a receiver. Now, do they have to necessarily pick a receiver? No, they can go pick one up in free agency. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's still receivers out there available, but you need somebody with some speed to fill that spot. So I anticipate they're going to draft somebody fast. And I think there's a few really fast receivers in this draft this year, but are they going to be available by the time that, Detroit gets that pick? Who knows? But I would be going defensive end first. And the first thing I would do after this draft is I would re-sign Zadarius Smith for whatever, he's wanting. I have a feeling they're going to re-sign him regardless. But it would be nice to have, that veteran presence on the line to be able to have somebody, for a new guy to learn from, or to back up that position. Because unless you draft somebody who's on the level of an Aiden Hutchinson, you're going to need some teaching to do. You know what I mean? There's not too many players that can go out there and have the impact that Aiden had in his first year. But yeah, I would go defensive end first. Like, first and foremost, I think that's our biggest need right now. I know we have one of the premier ones in the league, but it's always nice to have two really good defensive ends. So you're going to want them on opposite sides of each other. At some point, you're going to want to draft another tackle in this too. From what I'm hearing, we're not going to get Aleem McNeil back until probably game 7-8 of the season. He's a big piece of that defensive line. So you're going to want to draft another tackle also. Other than that, our offense is pretty legit. Other than maybe we need another receiver, our offense is pretty stacked. They don't have to really worry about those positions. We've signed, some of those positions stay on for a while. At some point in this draft, I'd like to see them pick up another guard. You're going to need that for the future. We have an aging offensive line. You're going to want to look at that for the future. But yeah, first round, I'd be going after a defensive end.
I would tend to have to agree with you on that. And if anybody else has an opinion, you have a comment, you have a question, you have anything, you want to be a part of the show, both Tim and I have posted the links on the live chat. If you're watching us through the PFC Entertainment Network Facebook page, you click on that. You put in a little bit of information. I get the notification that you're in the virtual waiting room. I hit a little button. Boom, you're on the show. We would love to have you on here to talk about what you think is going to happen with the first round here in the NFL draft. Either with Tennessee's number one pick, what you think the Detroit Lions um, should do with their pick if you had the book, so to speak, or if you're a diehard of another team. What does your specific team need? What does your fan base think that your team needs? We want to be a part of this conversation um, in the time that we're on the air here. But yeah, this is a very exciting time for at the NFL and the NFL fans, and this
Well,
is
it's
really
also exciting because, volunteer workouts just came back on. I posted that on the page the other day. The Lions reported back to practice and they're already starting to work out. So NFL season's starting to amp up.
and we're just now in at the end of April.
Yeah.
It just seems like the other day we were talking about the Super Bowl, and now here we are. We're talking about the draft. We're talking about training, doing practices, and all this other shit. And it's like, holy crap, this is legitimately becoming a year-round business. Um, and when I was younger, and maybe it was because I was younger, I just felt like, man, once the Super Bowl happened, we didn't hear shit about football until the college games started back up. I mean, you would get reports from training camp, but it wasn't anything like the coverage that this league is getting nowadays. And it just goes to show what a juggernaut that the National Football League has become and how rabid and how loyal this fan base is. It's become a $1 billion empire, you
Yeah.
know.
And on top of that, I don't know how much you really dig down deep into it, but a lot of the teams have a pretty big YouTube presence. So, like, if you ever get a chance to go on YouTube, check out Inside the Den. They start recording and they almost do shows like Hard Knocks. But every almost I know the Lions have one. I follow them. It's a really cool show. You can watch it back year to year. It usually covers the draft and they show a lot of the footage from the draft in the draft room. The Chiefs do the same thing. I follow both those teams pretty diehard. So yeah, on top of just following, the NFL footage, a lot of these teams have branched off to create their own, online presence and, the creator presence and having their own YouTube channels, which you get to see a lot of the behind the scenes shit, in the off season of what they're going through currently. So yeah, check them out. YouTube's great for that. The Lions have Inside the Den. The Chiefs, I can't think of the name of theirs right off. It's something Kingdom. So check those out. Pretty cool shows. You can see behind the scenes shit. You just had a weird smile on your face.
Well, I was going to make a smart ass remark, but I decided not to.
Oh,
Out
you
of
got.
respect.
Hey, I haven't said anything about Carolina yet.
You haven't. That's why I'm going to stay on this side of the line. I was waiting for a Carolina comment.
I'm trying to be
Some
better, Jason.
I know you are, and I do appreciate the effort. I really do. Um,
As
this
soon as
just
football season starts, though, it's all over, brother.
well, when we get there, we'll tackle
Yeah.
it when we get there. It's all right. It's all right. Um, this just came across, and I don't know why, of all things, this came across my radar. It doesn't tell me who wrote this either, but our favorite potential team fits is the highlight or headline. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. But Michigan cornerback Will Johnson is expected to go to the Atlanta Falcons. If these people were calling the shots, so to speak, they would be going at after Will Johnson. I'm not really sure why this popped up on my radar. I'm trying to figure it out. I guess these are projections from a columnist, like they're projecting. Uh, oh, this is team by team who they would be going after. Okay, this
I
makes
could
sense.
see that move being made. They could use a high drafted corner there, so that'd be a smart pickup for them. They're not really in a position to go after a quarterback, so I would guess either you know offensive guard or something on the defense. I could see that going. I want to make a quick update right now. We are currently in period number 2. It is the Knicks are leading Detroit 33-27, so still a close game. I currently have it
Well,
on. I would show a picture of the screen, but then YouTube would probably or Facebook would delete the fuck out of us. So
I'm here to tell you. I, this and look, a part of me gets it. A part of me does get it, but at the same time, if you're putting your own shit out there and I'm sharing your link,
yes,
we're all our viewers. We'll use the Masters as an example because we got flagged on the last episode, presumably because we showed footage. Oh, it was. I got the notification. I sent it to you.
yeah,
Masters, flagged us, but it wasn't like I pirated their footage and put our logo on it. No, it went. If you click that link, it took you to their Twitter page. So they were still getting the recognition and the credit for that download or that view. So I don't understand why, of all things, the Masters took exception. NFL, I can understand. NBA to some degree, MLB not so much. But when I feel like, and maybe because it was the Masters, if it had been another tournament, would it have been flagged? I don't know. But it just you fuckers got to calm down. Is what it comes down. You're alienating or you're pissing off in different aspects in different areas of your fan base. You want people to pay attention to your shit, and we're trying to put your stuff out there for like me. I'm not necessarily a golf fan, but I'm interested in it. I want to learn about it, and where better to go than to the PGA's page or the Masters official page or whoever the hell. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know, man. This it's I
yeah.
get it.
Well,
It's all
they decided just to blow up a whole episode of ours over a 20-second clip of Rory's reaction at the Masters. Maybe even us just saying the Masters is going to get us nicked. Who knows? I don't know. It's all stupid because we've sat there and broadcast almost a whole Lions game with no issue, and then
still up.
yeah, it's still up. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden now it's like boom. But I've been noticing that a lot of our videos have been getting dings. So I don't know if that's a good thing. They're paying attention to us, so somebody's watching our shit. But
I ain't mad about it because again, you mentioned it earlier. Spotify don't give a fuck.
yeah,
You
Spotify don't give two shits. So if you can't find one of our episodes on Facebook, please go to Spotify. If you want the video feed, and it's actually better quality video because it does its own little video editing, and you get it's a pretty good production. I really enjoy watching on Spotify. In fact, I will rewatch our episodes on my 75-inch upstairs through the Spotify app, and it's amazing because I it makes my head look huge. So I look fucking amazing on a 75-inch TV. But yeah, it's a better video production than what we have on Facebook here. I do like our Facebook being able to go live. We do really well on Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, if you are watching this video, if you come across this video, like and share it. Get us out there even farther. You know what I mean? Help us out, please. Just give us a like and a share and follow not only the PFC Entertainment Network on Facebook, you know, like the Sports Reel podcast too. Just keep on growing and get our name out there.
I don't know what your screen says, Tim, but right now I got the Pistons are down by 3.
Yeah, I just caught that. I'm on commercial now, so
Okay. The
it's
Pistons are
Will
down by
Ferrell riding a swan. He's paddling away.
we said last week that this was going to be a closer than expected series with the New York Knicks, and a lot of it, I felt like a lot of um, what it was going to come down to was who wound up with home court advantage. You know, because playing at Madison Square Garden in front of a rabid and motivated New York Knicks team that has been clamoring for a winning team for a long time, a championship team for a long time. And then you talk about the Detroit Pistons. Now, clearly, we're going to have a different opinion on that because we're based out of the state of Michigan. But, you know, if anybody is counting out the Pistons right now just because of where they're seated, uh, do not, because the majority of the league did that earlier this year, and it wound up biting them in the ass. You know, we're now looking at them, you know, in the first rounds of the NBA playoffs. You know, the first month or so of this season, that wasn't even in conversation.
Yeah.
But they were able to turn shit around. They got the right coach in place. They, you know, who found a way to move the pieces where they needed to go. And the next thing you know, man, we're seeing something that is, I don't want to put too much on it, but from my perspective, it's kind of reminiscent about the go to work Pistons
Yeah.
from the early 2000s that culminated in '04 with them winning the NBA title. So I feel like we're on the prefaces of another team like this because again, as Detroit sports championships have demonstrated, it ain't one or two players carrying the whole team like a Los Angeles Lakers or the Boston Celtics or anything. It is a team effort, and it is roster deep. You don't have just a handful of good players, and the rest of them are just kind of filling spots. This is a team mentality, and do not sleep on the Pistons. You know, they're if the bottom falls out in this series, okay, then they have some work to do. But be goddamn proud of where you're at right now, because, like I said, a month into the season, this wasn't even taken into consideration.
Yeah, no, 100%. It just seems to be the thing with Detroit sports altogether right now. Don't knock them out. And talking about Detroit sports, what's up with our Tigers, man? I was checking the standings yesterday. They were on top of the American League. These Tigers are rolling. We got the Pistons rolling. We got the Tigers rolling. We got the Lions rolling. We got the Red Wings shit in the bed. But you know, 3 out of 4 teams are just roll. I mean, I know the Lions ain't playing right now, but they rolled last season and they're going to roll again this next season. They're going to be just, you know, just as good as they were this past season, if not better. But yeah, right now, Pistons trail by 5 currently. But yeah, Pistons rolling and like you said, like they lost that first game in New York. They come back, won the second game in New York, and now they're back at LCA, Little Caesars Arena. And they're down by 2. We just hit a 3-pointer. So it's a competitive back and forth game. It's a exciting one. And this sucks that it's draft night because I want to watch playoff basketball
Right.
and the draft at the same time, which the draft is actually starting in 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah.
So right now we got somebody's mock draft has a wide receiver going number 1. This is Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 prospects. He's got wide receiver going number 1. I doubt that. It's going to be Cam Ward. But yeah, I mean, Pistons rolling, Tigers just tearing it up. They're still tearing it up. And that just goes to show, I mean, Jim can stop sweating it. So wherever Jim is right now, I don't know what toilet he's shitting on, but he can stop sweating because the Tigers are proving that they're still in this thing this year to be sitting on top of the American League, tied with the Yankees. Last time I looked, I don't know how they did today, but
I'll pull that up in just a moment. But Jim Burgett, who we're talking about, actually celebrated a birthday last week as well, or yesterday.
happy
Yesterday was
birthday, Jim. I didn't get a chance to text you over there, but I'm putting it out there on air. Happy birthday. And in fact, because it's Jim, happy birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Hold on, we might like he left last time I saw happy birthday, so he might like but the happy birthday to you. I feel bad for doing this, but happy birthday, dear Jim. He's not even watching, so he's not gonna like, he'll probably watch this, but happy birthday to you. There we go.
All right, let's look real quick. Finals from today around Major League Baseball. Kansas City Royals picked up a 7-4 win over the Rockies, unfortunately for me. The San Francisco Giants a 6-5 victory over the Brewers. Um, Kansas City and Colorado are in the second half of a doubleheader. Kansas City with a with a 6-2 lead in at the bottom of the eighth there. Baltimore picks up a oh no, Baltimore is leading 2-1 in the middle of the fifth. And then later tonight we've got the Angels hosting Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay will be in Arizona to play the Diamondbacks, and then the Athletics will be hosting the Texas Rangers. Which, speaking of,
Yeah.
the Athletics, the former Oakland A's, which are presumably moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah, but they're still the Oakland A's now.
You're right.
But
In,
yeah,
in preparation for the move
yeah.
to Las Vegas, not one thing that I see have Athletics on it. Not one. I saw more shit of this is no joke. I saw more merchandise with the Golden Knights shit on it, their hockey team, than I did Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, yeah. Well, the
On,
Golden Knights
on
won the Stanley Cup a few years ago, so they're the
the cream of the crop.
yeah the bright stars of Vegas right now. The Raiders ain't shit, unfortunately, but they probably will. I mean, who knows? I don't know. They're in a really tough division to become shit, so we'll see how they turn out. But yeah, you're talking about a good team versus a team that's kind of like blah. But yeah, the Athletics are, from everything I'm hearing, probably in the next 3 to 4 years moving there. I don't know if they've planned out and started building a stadium yet, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm switching over here to the.
By the way, how's Allegiant Stadium? Is it fucking gorgeous?
It is a very cool stadium. Yes, the ambiance, the roof of it, just it brings in that natural light. You saw that if you watch the first hour or so of WrestleMania. It really lights up the entire stadium. It's got a cool vibe to it. But if I can be honest with you, and I know it's because I'm a homebody and all that shit, it can't touch Ford Field.
Ford
It,
Field's
it,
fucking nice, especially for
it
being an older stadium now.
yeah. What was it? 25 years old.
Yeah, it was
damn
built
near.
in the early 2000s.
Yeah. 2002, I think it opened.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact. But Allegiant Stadium, they
Ooh,
top
Pistons
notch.
just took the lead. Sorry.
No, it's perfect.
I'm watching you, and I'm watching the game on my phone right above my head. So,
yeah, right now in the American League, the Tigers and the Yankees are the two best teams, in the league right now. So that's fun. Over in the National League,
fuck, they're on a roll.
the Chicago Cubs, Mr. Nerona, are sitting on top of the NL Central. He's going to appreciate that, I'm sure. The Mets are on top of the East, and the Padres are on top of the West. And you're looking at the NL West with the defending champion Dodgers in there. They're currently sitting in third place. Now again, don't look more into this than what it is. We're still very, very, very early on in the MLB season. But holy fucking shit, dude. Colorado Rockies have only won 4 games so far.
I was going to say something. I'm going to hold it out until later on when I'm drinking. But
okay.
The Tigers, give all the credit. They're going through their hardest part of the season right now.
Yes, they are.
And they're sitting tied right on top of the American League. Like fuck. I'm excited about the Tigers this year. Like super. I can't wait to buy tickets and go down there. Like the Tigers, I have a feeling this is going to be last year was a special season. This has all the makings to become even more special this season. So let's see what they do. It's an early call, but could they make a World Series run? They're kind of right in the mix right now, and they've been beating some tough teams. I mean, they just put a good whooping on the Padres there. That's a good baseball team. So I'm pretty exciting on the outlook of that team for this season, and getting through these hardest parts of their season and still sitting there on top. That's things are only going to get possibly easier. Can never say easier because you can get beat by bad teams at any given time. Just like you were talking before when they have their series with the Rockies. The Rockies are always going to take one from them at least.
Right.
So it's early to call, but the outlook is very exciting this season.
They have tonight off. They will be they have a home series against Baltimore this weekend before going out to Houston to play the Astros early next week to close out the month of April. From Houston, they will travel to Los Angeles to play the Angels. They will get next Monday off, and then they start their three game series in Colorado with the Rockies before coming back home to play the Rangers and the Red Sox. So yeah, it doesn't get much easier. They get a little bit of a reprieve with Colorado, but you can't count Texas out. You can never count Boston out. And then after that, they're looking at Toronto, St. Louis, and Cleveland. So they're in the thick of it right now. You get into June, all depending on where they are in June after they conclude their series with the Cubs, which will be June 6th, 7th, and 8th. Then it's Baltimore, Cincinnati, but we'll get a better idea of where things are going to be shaping up for them because this is the hardest part of their schedule right now. So they're maintaining. They're tied with the evil empire that is the New York Yankees atop the American League right now. So, hey,
Like, I got you. So before we get off here tonight, because I know we're kind of getting a thing, Roger Goodell just wrote out. I don't know what the fuck's going on right now, but Tennessee's about to be on the clock. We're live in the draft. Let's hang around long enough to get the number one pick before you have to go to work.
sure.
Roger Goodell just rode out on a fucking bicycle for whatever reason with Lil Wayne and a bunch of other people. I
Oh
don't know what
my
the fuck's
God.
going on. I don't know what's going on. But I'm waiting for this clock to start. But here pretty soon, he's about to kick off the NFL draft right now. I love how everybody boos him at the draft. Like, everybody hates it. Score update, Detroit's still in the lead, 43-41. There's so much going on right now, Jason.
I know, dude. We really need to be doing this shit at like a sports bar where there's multiple TVs around us, so we
Yeah.
can focus on different things at one time.
Well, one, we got to get this shit to kick off so you don't have to work anymore. So everybody needs to like and share this shit so we can get this shit going on all the time.
It would do my heart so good.
Obviously, Green Bay may be small, but it's mighty.
Are you serious?
Thank you all.
Is that him talking? Is that Goodell talking?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to turn it up so I could hear. I don't know. Can you pick that up? It's probably low on here, but I don't want to like show the screen. Although on Spotify, you'll probably be able to see part of the screen because I don't want to get fucking deleted off Facebook.
I don't know because I guess it depends. Because generally when the camera does switch over to just you can always see like less than a quarter of your screen on the wall. That's all that happens in post production.
Oh, speaking of cool, this is the jersey my wife got me for Christmas. Got to represent a little bit of that offensive line, Panay Sewell. So
Yeah, it looks good, man.
yeah.
I really appreciate the black jersey.
Oh, I love it. It's my only black one. All the rest of my jerseys I hung up on the wall now, so which you could probably
Frame 'em?
get. Yeah, they're all framed. I don't know if I can get them in the video.
Oh no,
You can't see them all, but there's another one. There's a Mahomes jersey down here in the end. One day when we go live and we got a video behind us, you'll be able to see it all once we go live from here.
Oh, very cool.
Kind of
Heck
working
yeah.
on the old studio a little bit.
I appreciate that. I really do. And man, it just adds something to it. You see frame jerseys, man. Like to most people are like, oh, it's a frame jersey, it's no big deal. But it's like, no, that's a story. You know,
Yeah.
that's part of somebody's fandom, and it gets no more personal than that. I can
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Well, that's why I have a good mix. I got my Mahomes, obviously, because I'm a Chiefs fan. Anybody who doesn't like it, fuck off. I got my Cabrera because who doesn't love the fucking Tigers and Miguel Cabrera?
Right.
And then I got my Stafford Rams Super Bowl jersey from the year they won the Super Bowl. And then I got another Stafford Lions jersey because Stafford's still one of my favorite quarterbacks to ever play the game. I give that guy all the credit in the world, and he's still good today. Oh, we're about to go live.
Now, how long does Tennessee have to put their pick in?
10 minutes, but they've already had their pick. So
Right.
they're on the clock. 9:57 left. Detroit's still in the lead, 47-45. Too much shit going on. Oh, New York just missed a 3. Let's see if we can go up by more. The Pistons need to go on a run here and just shut these guys out at home.
You know, picking up that win at Madison Square Garden was a must win.
Yeah.
That was a must win.
Needed that.
If for nothing else, for momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if New York had come into LCA with a 2-0 lead, man, New York is one of those teams. You know, momentum is a very serious thing, and that's kind of why they are where they're at right now. And you know, coming into Detroit, you know, with that kind of momentum, it would be very difficult to derail the Knicks. But you know, picking up that win in New York was, you know, I'll say it again, was a must win for the Pistons. So I don't know, man. I've got a feeling, you know, if I was a betting man, I would be laying a little bit of coin down on Detroit to advance to the second round here.
I'd feel pretty fair with that. Let's. I want to see how they do tonight. Right now they're currently down by 1. Basketball's so fast. Like they were just up by 4, and now they're down by 1, and just in that little bit of time. But yeah, a lot of game left. I mean, I would put money down in Detroit, and the odds, probably pretty good return on that, to be honest. Everybody still shuts down and counts out Detroit sports, but Detroit sports on a clip right now, and they're getting hot. Even the Red Wings might not have had to finish out their season very well, but they had a pretty good run this year, and they were looking hot there for a while. I don't know what the hell Tennessee's taking so long.
They've had their pick.
Yeah, they already know their pick. Well, you know how it all goes. They're gonna call their pick and say, "Hey, we're picking you." Like, I go back and when I talk about that, if you get some time, Jason, I don't know if you ever watched it on YouTube, Inside the Den, while you're at work tonight. Start watching back, because you can watch back clips from when like Aiden Hutchinson got drafted and stuff, like whole shows. And it's cool. So usually they'll start out and they'll call the player and have a conversation with them before they turn their pick in. So that's usually what takes the longest. But they got some shit the year that they pick Aiden Hutchinson, because it was almost instantaneously. It's like that when they had that number 2 pick, it was like as soon as like the clock starts, it was like, oh, Detroit's turning it in. You know, they already knew exactly where they were going to go, and they were getting some shit for making their pick too fast. And it's like, why the fuck does it matter?
Part of that, Tim, is the advertising dollars.
Yeah.
because they're going to go into a commercial break. If they haven't already, they're going to here in a second. So the sponsors have something to do with this. I have no doubt. Um, but when you have what you have, just do it. Just do the goddamn thing. You can come back on the backside and throw in another, a minute or two of ads. You're going to be just fine. You're a multi-billion-dollar fucking conglomerate. It'll be absolutely okay. I promise you. Um, but yeah, Tennessee has known probably since God knows when they figured out who was available and when they were going to get the first round or the first draft pick. They already knew who they were going for. They should have just opened the show up this way. You know,
Yeah.
the draft. Where the draft just started, and with that, the Tennessee Titans have selected number
Cam Ward.
one Cam Ward. That is
That's my
our
guess.
yeah.
We're about to find out. The pick still is not in, but they got about a little bit over 5 minutes left. So I know you got to start getting ready to go to work here soon.
Yeah, so Goodell wasting my time by riding a bike out with whoever the fuck you said it was, Little Wayne, Little
It
John.
looked like Lil Wayne.
Like what are we doing? You know, I I've I've got shit to do.
Yeah.
uh, it's all about that merchandising money, and we saw that, man. Yeah, going back to until they formally announced the pick real quick. WrestleMania generated millions of dollars in sponsorship deals this year for the first time. I mean, every square inch of that fucking canvas was covered. Every turnbuckle had a different sponsor on it. Every match was sponsored by some other organization or company or what have you. There was not one aspect of that show both nights that wasn't sponsored by something or didn't have somebody else's logo attached to it. And while I get it, that's how you're making a lot of your revenue. At the same time, it kind of, it takes something away for me, but it's also full proof. One more time, Vince McMahon is no longer involved in this shit at all.
No, not at all. Because he would have never let that shit happen. Fuck. I was surprised he let Brock Lesnar start wearing sponsors on his fucking shorts there for a little bit, because that was always a no-no.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'm surprised they didn't do it earlier on. I'm surprised Vince didn't do it, because that's dollars. It's money that, and maybe they have to go that route now because it makes more money with the current. You don't have pay-per-views like you used to.
right.
So they have to do something to make up that money that they had off pay-per-views. But at the same time, I also understand that, the wrestlers aren't getting the same checks they used to off the pay-per-views because they don't have pay-per-views anymore. So I don't know how they're exactly getting paid, but maybe that's why contracts have gone up a little bit, because they're not making that back end off of appearances at the pay-per-views. Now I know they still make money. If you have a Mania match, you're going to make more money off of that.
Right.
So I'm waiting. The picks in. They're all hugging it out. So we're just waiting for Roger Goodell to announce it.
Well, perhaps he could
Here
hop his ass
he's
back
coming
on
out.
that bike.
He's walking out this time
All
with
right,
his
let's hear
white
this.
shoes and his blue suit. Like, turn it up.
The most hated man in the NFL.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward,
Exactly what we
quarterback,
thought.
Miami.
Yep.
They
No
took
surprise
Cam Ward
there.
number 1. All right.
Cam Ward is going to be a Tennessee Titan for the first part of his NFL journey. Congratulations to him for being the number one pick in this year's NFL draft. You can stay up to speed in real time for the next little bit over on the Sports Real podcast on Facebook. Tim is going to be monitoring this, and I'm sure he'll be breaking in with any late breaking news or developments with this draft. So continue to check that out.
I might even come on live later on Facebook just to do a little recap. Who knows?
Well,
Or maybe I'll even jump on tomorrow and do a little recap of night 1. I don't know. It won't be long though, because I get bored by myself. I get lonely.
Well, stay tuned to all of our socials for all the latest news and information about the draft, about anything going on in the world of sports, because if it makes headlines, it's fair game here on the Sports Reel podcast. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other, and we will see you next week right here. Or Tim may see you later on tonight. We'll see how it goes. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button, and help us help you. With that, we'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Go Lions, go Pistons, go Tigers. Oh, shit. Wrong button. Wrong fucking button.